Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on on FM at 93.3. So, Mike McCarthy, breaking in the past hour or so, will be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys again. People were screaming at this man. People were disowning this man. People were calling for this man to be canned. And then Dak for choking. People were screaming at and disappointed and disgusted with Dak and his 2 interceptions and the turnovers. In fact, one of my favorite memes was Dak making Apple turnovers, showing turnovers. Anyone? He seems to be better at making turnovers than scoring points or passing to the right guy. So people were hoping that some big change would come. I didn't hear anybody that didn't go after talking about the fans, the man on the street fans, in all the news stories covering all this. I didn't see anybody that wasn't livid at Dak and livid at Mike McCarthy and wanting him to be fired, both of them. And then we had Dak come out within 24 hours of that or so and say, I'm not going anywhere. If you're going to fire Coach Mike McCarthy, you have to fire me. So now, or something about we're a team, we go together. Yeah. So now I'm wondering, as I sit here with the Cowboys saying that Mike McCarthy will keep his job for his 5th and final season on his contract. He will not be fired, as many were hoping for, praying for, yelling for, etc. For a man who's taken us to the playoffs 3 seasons in a row, and we lose repeatedly. We entered as the postseason as number 2 seed in the conference with a 16-game winning streak. Only to have, I've told you ad infinitum, I'm not a sports guy, but I know enough. I know a 16-game winning streak is incredible, and I know a wild card means you just got in by the hair of your chin. And for us to be ranked number 2 in the conference and to lose to a wild card is embarrassing. And to be trounced by a wild card. I mean, dude, we were 27-0. Wasn't that the score at the halftime or something? Woo! Who wants more of that 27-0 in the first round of the playoffs? Come on. We do. Now, Jerry Jones, I'll tell you what he said in a minute, but the Cowboys compiled a 42-25 record over the last 4 seasons. Now, I really do want to say that's a pretty good record. And again, I'm not a sports guy, but I know that 25-42 is pretty good. That's not too bad. And they're talking about this in Dallas Morning News. A pandemic we had for the first year. Dak broke his leg in week 5. Then they took off. So they always get there, and they get so close like Hillary Clinton. It's like that meme. My favorite meme of all time, I think, is the fisherman. And he's got I think it's from like a progressive commercial or something. And the fisherman, he's like, oh, you almost got it. You're so close. Oh, and you take that as a meme and you put Hillary on there. Go look at it. Go, oh, I'm so excited. You're almost there. You almost got it. That's us. Meanwhile, the Rangers can talk about their championship. And that's a great thing. World Series championships. However, us, dude, we're back in the 90s again. Totally 90s. So here we are, and we're getting spanked like nothing else. And once again, America's team flops in the first round, and it's embarrassing. And this one was particularly embarrassing and everything. So my question for you is, are you excited? I saw an article earlier in the day, which I'll hold up for you before the news broke today, And it said this in the Dallas Morning News, and I couldn't believe it, what I was reading. Why keeping Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott together may be Cowboys' most viable option. I saw this. I'm holding it up for you if you're watching on the Facebook Live, on the Chris Crock Show Facebook Live page, at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKR, okay? And I saw this and said, are you kidding me? This is it? This is all we get? It's like what we call my best of show. It's called This Is All We've Got. The best of show. While keeping Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott together may be the Cowboys' most... why keeping Mike and Dak would be the best option for Cowboys, it says. So I saw that and I said, are you kidding me? People are going to crap a brick on that. Well, here you go. McCarthy stays, so this means most likely Dak is going to stay too, doesn't it? So we'll find out on his future as well, but dang, dude. Dang. You know, people say, is Joe Biden compromised? You got to ask, is Dak compromised? All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Are you excited about another year of Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys head coach? And would you also like more Dak with that? Huh? Are you excited about another year with Coach Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys head coach? And then would you like a side of Dak with that? Do you want some more Dak with that? I can't see folks wanting that, but it looks like that's what we're going to get, doesn't it? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. So we advanced to the postseason 3 straight years for the first time since the franchise's Super Bowl run in the late 90s. And we still can't get there. We still can't get there. Now, also want to show you a little bit more I got on this story today. McCarthy has been unable to leave the team past the divisional round, ceiling that has limited the club for 28 years, dude. 28. So, I mean, I don't know if we're unable to see the forest through the clouds or whatever the term is, because where if we just stuck with it a little bit more, we're going to do well, or if we're going to have another atrocious year next year where Dak chokes. Has Dak not choked in the playoffs? Okay, has Dak, that's a question for somebody else other than me, but has Dak choked on anything and on any playoff games? Has he not choked on any playoff games? Are we going to get a guy that we always keep getting there, but then we keep choking? I think that's what it looks like here. And when Dak said, it's me, I suck, well, how do we know you're not going to suck again in a year? And saying it as somebody who knows, we all know what it's like to be psyched out and to feel pressure and stuff like that. This is why I was not good at competitive sports, because when the heat is on you and the attention's on you, if you get worried or you crack like I did, it doesn't work out well. So if we have a guy that literally can't handle the spotlight with the playoffs, then we're always going to have this problem. And I don't see, I'm being serious, too, other than a mental health thing. Like if he got mental health coaching or something, he has to mentally overcome this. And some people are saying on the Chris Crock Show Facebook Live, bye, Dak, we need change. Well, I don't think he's going to be going bye-bye with Mike McCarthy staying. I do not see Dak leaving if Mike McCarthy is staying. So I think this spells doom for those who don't want Dak and those who don't want Mike McCarthy. I think you're going to get a twofer here. And are you okay with that? All right? Are you okay with having Mike McCarthy on for another year as the Cowboys head coach? And are you okay with Dak for another year? Because I can pretty much guarantee that's going to happen. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Now, why would the Dallas Morning News columnist today say that keeping McCarthy and Prescott together may be the Cowboys' most viable option? What is that all about? I'll tell you what they're saying there. And your call as well at 800-288-WBAP on the Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP. Well, they're saying it in the Dallas Morning News. Come on, baby, finish what you started. That's it. They want you to finish what you started over there with the Cowboys. So that means they're going to bring back Mike McCarthy as coach. And I think that most people who are following this know that means that Dak's coming back. And look at what the Dallas Morning News said earlier today. I caught this earlier today, but it was before the breaking news came in. All right? And that is why keeping Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott together may be Cowboys' most viable option. Our number, by the way, is 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. But the question is, are you okay with Mike McCarthy coming back another year? Do you want Mike McCarthy to come back another year as a head coach of the Cowboys? And that most likely means Dak is back for another year or longer. Are you okay with that as well? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Here's what the Dallas Morning News said about that today before the news broke, saying keeping McCarthy and Prescott together might be the most viable option for the Cowboys. If you start with the biggest question facing the franchise, Dak Prescott's contractual future, and you work back from there, it likely informs how the decision of McCarthy plays out. That meeting won't just be about McCarthy. Prescott undoubtedly will be part of the conversation. See, so what I think they're not saying is what they already know behind the scenes. Jerry and McCarthy, they're going to keep Dak. The future of one can't be discussed without the other. Interestingly enough, as you know, Dak said a day or two prior to this that he's not going anywhere. If you're going to fire McCarthy, fire me too. Maybe Dak saved McCarthy's job. I don't know. They say here in the news that Prescott he's in the final season of his contract, which we all know. He has a no-trade clause. The club cannot use his franchise tag on him after the next season. It's in the team's best interest to sign the quarterback to an extension, lower the cap for 2022. How much are you willing to commit to a quarterback who has a postseason record of 2-5 and hasn't led the team past the divisional round? Dak has a record of 2 wins and 5 losses in the playoffs. So he's going to get us to the playoffs, but the record shows he is almost 2.5 times more likely to fail in the playoffs. 2.5 times. He loses twice, 2.5 times more than he wins. Ouchity, ouch, ouch, ouch. What do you say? Are you excited about this? You like this or no? 800-288-WBAP is our number. He has a 2-5 postseason record at Dak, and he hasn't led the team past the divisional round. Jones isn't looking to cut and run, this columnist in the DMN said earlier today. He has 8 years invested in Prescott. He wants it to work. Besides, where can he turn? All right. So, wow. And then they talk about how nobody's better suited to give Jerry Jones a more accurate gauge on the question of Prescott's competence than Mike McCarthy. Not Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, not Mike, is it Vrabel? Yeah, people were saying they want Harbaugh, they want Belichick. But if you do that, you could have a whole new system come in, a whole new everything come in, and it might be blown up. And so I guess the idea here is to hang on to the same thing. But I don't think a lot of people are going to like this. No. But we'll see. Are you ready for another year of, we're gonna go that, we're so close. Are you ready for that? We can be depressed and sad and wooed away for another year and then flop and flop and flop and flop. Yeah, I don't see how this could be a good thing for us, but we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'll be shocked if Dak isn't in the next. I don't know. When they have to sign him again, re-sign him again, or what. But they're probably gonna announce that he's in as soon, like he's in for another extension as soon as they can. That's what I think. But what promise do we have that he's not gonna flop in the playoffs again? I don't think we have much of a chance to know until it happens, and then we watch him flop again, perhaps. All right, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Another thing that happened today, we had a law that was passed that would have required the school books for our libraries and Texas library. It's for school libraries, public public school libraries that would have required booksellers to rate books, to put on either a label on it that would be sexually explicit, in which case it would be banned from all Texas public school libraries, and then after it's banned, there would be another. There's 3 labels this would have put on a book: sexually explicit, which would remove all books from the shelves that are sexually explicit; another label that would have referenced sex but a part of a required school curriculum that would have been rated sexually relevant, meaning it can be there, but you got to have parent permission to take it out because it's relevant to curriculum. So either sexually explicit, banned from the library in public schools, or sexually relevant, permission slip to look at because it's a class. And then last but not least are just regular books that are not banned. That thing has been struck down today, that law, by the appeals court, 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. We're going to get to that in a minute and see what you think about that. First, let's go to Adrian in Lucas. Adrian, you're live on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.
Great to see you on FM 93.3, honestly. But, hey, I'm fully supportive of keeping Mike and keeping Dak, but it's very selfish reasons.
Okay, I'm going to guess what you're saying. It's for very selfish reasons. You're not a Cowboys fan. You're a fan of another team.
I'm a Giants fan.
I knew it! I knew it!
Yeah,
so you want to keep... What?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head, dude.
All right, so you want to keep Dak and Mike McCarthy because you want the Giants to win.
No, we need all the help we can get. We had a terrible year. Okay? I mean, we were going all of them boys. They were talking MVP, and now it's just rinse and repeat.
And then we're going to get excited again and spend more money again and get let down again and then act surprised and angry again.
Yeah, but hopefully next year Giants take you out.
Hopefully. That's what you think. Thank you for your call. You just peeved off a lot of people, but that's okay, Adrian. I'm all good with that. Appreciate your call, brother. All right, he's happy. He's a Giants fan. See, there you go. There you go. That's funny. All right, coming up next in the Chris Crock Show, the 5th Circuit Court of Appeals struck down a Texas law that would have had sexually explicit bans on books from our public school libraries. We'll get to that coming up next in the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Chris Crock program, News Talk 820 WBAP. Okay, so a decision came down later today that said the appeals court, the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans, ended up smacking down a book rating system that we passed in a Texas law, and it really would have done a couple things. It would have made books that have explicit sexual material in it branded sexually explicit, and it would remove them from the shelves. If something had sex in it but was sexually relevant because it was part of a required school curriculum, it would be labeled sexually relevant, and then parental permission would be needed. Anything else is fine. It would just go as normal in your public school library. And so several different outfits sued and said it's a violation of the First and 14th Amendment. And so they won. They got the case decided for them. A lower court ruled the same thing. So what this means, and by the way, the book manufacturers and the vendors, I should say, not the manufacturers, but the book vendors, would have had to label them as such and not sell them as such labeled. And if they did, then they'd be punished. Not allowed to be vending to Texas schools, selling to Texas schools. So that law went into effect, and then, before it went into effect, on Jan 1, it got smacked down. So that's where it is. Now, I wanted to know something, because what I did? I researched a lot on this. I looked at the Frisco ISD, for example, one of many, all of our school boards throughout North Texas and throughout Texas itself have been dealing with pornographic books that are under the guise of LGBTQ stuff. And it's not. It's pornography, and it's encouraging your child to do things that are pornographic and against most of our parental values. And if you want to have this kind of crap in your house, if you want to have your child read these kinds of books, if you want to have your child be some kind of a private book club to read this, that's your business. Nobody's here to stop you from having your kid read books about gay people having sexual relations. In one of the ones we talked about, infamously, it has a boy performing fellatio on a man. That's child pornography. If you want your son to read about that, genderqueer book, then you go ahead and do that. You want your son or daughter to read about that and have a book club on it, that's great. Keep it out of our schools. That ain't going to be playing in my house. So you look at how we've been handling it prior to this book ban that was passed and just was struck down today. You look at what's going on in their districts all over North Texas, for example, Frisco ISD. They have a process there. I think most school districts seem to have something like this. There is a level 1 review where parents and school staff review a book to see if it's appropriate. If you complain and that they don't agree with your complaint, you can go to level 2, which brings in district officials and administrators. And if you still have a problem, if you still want to challenge it, then you can go to the school board to make an appeal. And they have that. And what's amazing is, just to give you an idea of what books were making it through into Frisco ISD, and they banned they removed 307 books from Frisco ISD. And there were 2 school board members that had voted, they were shocked, it says here in the article that Channel 8 did on this, WFA TV Channel 8 did on it months back, talking about they were shocked that a review had to come before the board. Like, they're shocked that this comes to our desk as board members, that it made it through the first 2 rounds. It's that bad. Like, what the heck's wrong with you? They said, we were surprised and disappointed these books got this far. It should be obvious to most people they shouldn't be in our libraries, said one of the school board members. And then other people counter, and they say, look at Lonesome Dove. And Larry McMurtry's Pulitzer Prize-winning Lonesome Dove, a Texas novel. 9 sex scenes are in it, apparently, and a sexual assault that happens, and yet it's a Texas classic. You're going to ban Lonesome Dove? Well, if it's got stuff in it that's inappropriate, yes. You can go check it out from the public library. You can go buy the book. You can have a book club with you and your friends about it. Your parents can make you read it at home. But we don't want it in our school if it has, at least I don't want it in our school if it has pornography. And as discussed in this article, a separate article in the Texas Tribune that I read up on this too, it says stuff like this should be better discussed at home. And that's not what these people want to do. They want to shove stuff down our kids' throats to say how wrong you and I are in the way we're raising our kids. Or that the faith we raise them up in our home, in our churches, is somehow wrong. Something's wrong with it and backwards. And that these people are going to usurp you and how you're raising your child to teach your children what the truth is in their eyes. BS. Take the values crap and teach it on your own time. So here's my question for you. And by the way, one other thing, we did ban critical race theory in schools back in June of 2021. And so all this stuff that has stuff with the racial division, the critical race theory, all this DEI crap, it's all out. Not allowed to have it in our schools. So I'm very grateful for all this. I like this. But the big question is, are you okay? Would you be okay? Would you appreciate labels that say explicit so that your child cannot even see them in your child's public school library, or relevant if it has sexual stuff in it, but it has to get a parental permission? Would you want something like that that says explicit, doesn't allow it, that bans sexually explicit books from our public school libraries? Would you appreciate that, or do you think the school district regulations where you bring it in front of the board and parents raise almighty Cain, you have all these different separate school boards all over North Texas deciding what they want, what they don't want? So would you have appreciated this law? Did you want a law like this? Or do you think it's okay to just let the local school board handle the control of it? And, that's an interesting question for me, because I do like the idea of banning sexually explicit books and sexual stuff unless it has school stuff in there. But what's interesting is I also see this and I go, wait a minute. I mean, we are doing a good job in Frisco and in many of other school districts of getting this crap out of the schools. So it is kind of I like the idea of having a list, which we have, of like 300 plus or 400 plus or 600 plus, whatever the books are, where we as parents can look at the list and see if that's in our kids' library. I like that. I like the idea of us having a clearinghouse for being able to look to see what's in our library and expose it. So would you have appreciated this law? Or do you think things are good with the local control of the school board and just leave it at that? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. That's 800-288-WBAP. Now, we passed a law banning critical race theory. HB 3979 was signed into law banning concepts related to critical race theory. Back in 2021, prohibiting teachers from discussing topics related to critical race theory. Good. Topics and concepts forbidden to discuss include that a person by virtue of the individual's race or sex is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive, whether consciously or unconsciously, or that a person bears responsibility for the past actions of members in their race. You cannot require understanding of the 1619 Project as well. Amen. Some of these things are good. That would be a similar type of a ban. I suppose you can get nebulous with 600 different books. My gosh. It's just not like what it used to be, is it? Some of the most challenged books in this are The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison, challenged in the state. Has sexually explicit content. Other books include Genderqueer, All Boys Aren't Blue, and such. And I love how you put other books with LGBTQ plus or anti-racism thing. That's it. We don't want gay books. Get out of here. It's sexually explicit books. This is just like how the media lies and carries the water for the White House when they lie. Like today they lied about us in the border, that we let the illegals drown. That's a lie. It was just proven yesterday, and they're still promulgating the lie today, and the media prints it like it's still true today. Same thing with these books. They're trying to help. It's about gay people. They don't want gay books. No, we don't want sexually explicit books. None of us are stupid here. And isn't it funny how apoplectic they get? But they can buy the book on their own. They can have their own book clubs. In fact, they've done that. Have you seen some of these? The news media puts them on the front. Oh, look how important they are. Look, they have a little book club for their book that's banned. Good. Who cares? Enjoy your 3-person book club. You know? There you go. You're in America. You can do that. Enjoy it. But not in our classrooms, not in our libraries. All right, hey, I want to talk about this. I had victory today at home. I had victory in that my pipes I think they were starting to freeze up a little bit in one area. And in fact, I had victory. We're going to talk to somebody who can tell you and me all about lots of questions I have about your faucets and mine and bursting pipes and what if it's still not working but there's no bursted pipes yet, and what kind of scams to look out for. I got a lot of questions from my friend Jim Dutton from Texas Home Improvement. Saturday afternoons here on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Jim Dutton, Saturdays from noon to 2 on WBAP. He's joining us next on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Oh boy, I've been dying to talk to Jim Dutton from Texas Home Improvement every Saturday afternoon here on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Who hosts Texas Home Improvement and owns his own plumbing, HVAC, and foundation business, which we use. Jim, thanks for coming on again tonight, brother. I got lots to talk to you about.
My pleasure.
Well, I got to ask you this. First of all, today, Monday, my brand new washing machine says insufficient water supply. What do you think that means? I'll tell you what do you think that means when we're talking about the freeze going on at the time?
Well, it's one of two things. Either everybody's dripping their faucets and there's not enough water coming in, or your incoming line had some ice in it. That's more likely many people were dripping.
You know what? I didn't drip any faucets. You've taught me. Rivers freeze, so why do you want to have the water flowing in your pipes? They can freeze too. Totally BS. So I stand by what you always say, which is don't drip the pipes. That's dumb. It'll still freeze even if it's dripping, if it's cold enough. So what you say is, open up the cabinets now, and so here's what I did. You may laugh, you may think it's a little extreme, but I have two things on the wall: a sink for the kitchen, and I have laundry. So the sink, I put a little space heater under there that just blows, and it has an automatic shut off, so it doesn't get too hot in there. That did it like a charm, always does. And then on the laundry room, I didn't have it blowing directly on behind the laundry machine. I had it blowing in the room on the machine. So I think it started to freeze up, and that's why it had insufficient water. Does that make sense to you?
It does to a degree. I mean, if it had any water going through it, the ice would have melted in just seconds, because the groundwater, the water that's in the pipes underground, it's not ice cold. It's warm when it starts coming through there as compared to freezing. Even though when we get it on our hands, it feels like it's ice water, it's way warmer than ice water. And so if there is ice there, it just melts it right away. So
I took my space heater, blows warm air, and I put it right on that wall behind the unit, and I did that for 2.5 days till today when it went above freezing. And here was the moment of truth. That was when I'm going to find out if the pipes burst and there was going to be a leak, right?
It was. I mean, I can tell you, we went from 0 calls, a few people calling that, hey, I've got frozen lines and things like that. Can you come thaw it? Which at that point, no, you don't want to thaw it out. To once things thawed, overload on calls.
That means tons and tons of people have leaky pipes because they burst, but they didn't know it because it froze up.
Correct.
Okay, so what is your sign? Because my sign, I was looking for water to be, I could see I would see a waterlogged wall or something, right? And what do you see?
No, once it thaws, you're going to see more in a waterlogged wall. You're going to see water running, because typically what opens up is not just a pinhole. What opens up is going to be anywhere from usually a 1/2 to 3/4 inch slice in the pipe.
Wow.
And so it's shooting a bunch of water at once.
So basically, if you think your water line's frozen, it's funny because all my sinks worked fine except for this one thing with the that and my stupid refrigerator water dispenser. Why does that always stop working when it's this cold? I mean, I don't know what that is.
Because there is a very small line that runs to it, and there's 2 places they put them. They either bury them in the cabinet. Mm-hmm. Or in the wall, and they're not insulated.
Okay.
They never insulate those.
Yeah, mine goes up from the middle of the it's on the inside of the house. So I don't get why that always does that when it gets cold, but
yeah,
I don't know. Okay, I wanted to ask you a few more questions. I'll see if we can pop this all in on the same time here. Jim Dutton from Texas Home Improvement. So, What can people do right now to make sure everything's okay? What do you recommend they should be doing if they don't see a stream of water going in the house? What should they be looking at right now?
Well, at this point, pretty much all the pipes should have thawed out already. So if you don't have water issues going right now, you're probably okay. Where most people ran into a problem is outside hose bibs that froze, and it reaches back into the wall. Or you had pipes that were exposed somehow. I'll give you an example. I got one wall on my house where it's got a decorative soffit on the first floor below the second floor, and they opened that soffit into the wall. And there's one set of pipes there that will freeze on me if I'm not careful, because it's exposed to the coldness from outside. So, once it's running, though, you're fine. You should be good at this point. So
basically, if we have a wall that we're concerned about, like I was with my washing machine, just every time it gets below freezing for more than a day, how long do you usually determine where you got to do a red alert?
Usually, if it's more than just say 5-6 hours,
okay,
then that's when you want to start really addressing it. And like you did, put a space heater. That's all I do, and it works just fine. So
since my water was not a sufficient supply, and now it is fine, that means that it probably was freezing up, and I got it just in time, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Wow. No thank you on that. Okay. I want to ask you about scammers, what to look out for. Can you hold, and I'll just do a little bit more with you when we come back?
Oh, sure.
Thank you, Jim Dutton, who hosts Texas Home Improvement here on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. You should make it a preset. I want to just ask him about the scams. There's a great little article about scams, what to look for, how they pressure you, and Jim is the man on all things home improvement. Jim Dutton will continue with us coming up next on the Chris Crock Show. Then we're going to get into a ruling from a judge that says we can keep the buoys up. We also have a resolution the House passed condemning Biden's border crisis. And then John Cornyn caves in, says we have unique leverage. We have a deal in the Senate for illegals to go through, and it's bad. All that coming up next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset.